Welcome to another daily live webcast called Jenn Cast, a daily live show that happens Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern here on yfelive.com. I'm your host, Jennifer Donogh. You can tweet me at Jennifer Donogh and use the hashtag JennCast during this live show. It's Thematic Thursday, and today's theme is all about Galentine's Day. It's on our daily action calendar over at dailyactioncalendar.com to celebrate it. Obviously, not everyone's going to be able to pop out to brunch, and so we're going to be talking about our special lady friends today here on Jenn Cast Live.
What's Galentine's Day? Oh, it's only the best day of the year. Every February 13th, my lady friends and I leave our husbands and our boyfriends at home and we just come and kick it breakfast style. Ladies celebrating ladies. It's like Lilith Fair, minus the angst. Plus frittatas.
So good morning, everyone. Again, my name's Jennifer Donogh. Happy Galentine's Day, everyone. You know, I've talked about Galentine's Day in the past, and I feel like nobody watches Parks and Recreation. Am I the only one that watches that show? Because it's my favorite show. I should say I don't watch anything that's not funny. And I'm not stupid. I read, interesting, thought-provoking books, but at the same time, I don't want to watch a show about meth. I don't want to watch a show about murders. I used to watch all that stuff. I used to watch Real Housewives, and I've really gotten focused in on making sure that everything that's coming into my brain is something that's going to make me happy or entertain me if I'm going to sit down and actually watch television. So anyway, Parks and Recreation, I love, of course. I feel like a lot of women do like it, even if they aren't loyal watchers, because it involves Amy Poehler in it. Amy Poehler, of course, we've talked about in the show in the past. She's created Amy Smart Girls, and she does these daily vlogs or not daily vlogs, I think they're more like weekly, every once in a while, Ask Amy vlogs. And has a number of really cool Q&As too up on YouTube. Again, just look for, I think it's Amy's Smart Girls up on YouTube, and you can find out more about it. She's interviewed a lot of really cool people too on it. So anyway, check that out. So Amy Poehler's on there, and it's just I really like the idea that the day before Valentine's Day, we do focus in on women, our lady friends, like she says. And my question to you, if you're watching this, I want to know, do you still hang out with friends that aren't entrepreneurs? And I feel really horrible asking this, but at the same time, I honestly want to know. I still hang out with girlfriends that don't own businesses, but it's always a little awkward when we get to the work talk. So I have my best Galentine's best friends. I was friends with them in high school, and we still do, we did a Google Hangout over the weekend. We still get together whenever we can, but they are literally all over the world. And when we get to the work talk, I always kind of brush it past what I'm doing, because I don't know, there's something about, I don't know, I don't want to have to explain myself, I think. And I've started to explain myself a little bit more because one of the girls in the group, her husband opened a business. And so it's really fun to talk to her about it, and she kind of gets where I'm coming from when we talk about, what's going on in your work life. So below this in the comments, let me know if you still hang out. Make it a priority to hang out with your non-young female entrepreneur friends. And be honest about it. Why do you not make it a priority? And this the same goes for people that are moms. I myself have a toddler, and I'm expecting my second one, and it's interesting to hang out with other moms. I have a flexible schedule somewhat because I'm, boss lady, and they don't understand that I don't always have a flexible schedule. So anyway, comment below before I go off on this too much more. But anyway, our daily action calendar, for those of you that don't know about it, it's at dailyactioncalendar.com. Today's Thematic Thursday. It's all about Galentine's Day. It is actually our daily action calendar, our daily action to take a Galentine's Day brunch to celebrate the special lady friends. If you're here, you're probably not at brunch. So let's definitely use this time to celebrate one another. I wanted to point out these really cute little printables. They're by the Lady Project, which we talked to the founder, or one of the co-founders, and she's the CEO, Sierra Barter, I think it was last week, for Winning Wednesday, and I'll make sure to link to this below. But her stuff is so cute. Make sure that you pass it on. I like that it doesn't necessarily include Leslie Knope in it, so you don't have to be a fan of Parks and Recreation to get the concept behind Galentine's Day, but I'll include the link to get all of the printables so you can share them on Facebook or print them out, whatever you want to do. But one of the things that I wanted to point out before we get into this, because what we're going to do for our Galentine's Day celebration is to, of course, first of all, for me to thank you all for being amazing lady friends in my life. I feel like I know everyone on the chat and that shows up to the live shows personally, so sometimes people will email me or reach out and say, oh, can we schedule a chat? And I get on the phone and they start introducing themselves and I know everything about you. I feel weird sometimes too, because it's not like we've actually sat down and talked. I've just been stalking you on Twitter. So, anyway, I just want to thank you all, but we're also going to talk about some lady friends that have started businesses that are prominent in the media. And so hopefully you'll take some time today or tomorrow or over the weekend to find out more about these women. Just do your own research, look up their Q&As, because I've heard a number of these women speak in person and through live webcasts. I've met some of them and they have amazing stories. And the fact that they can go and be friends with their co-founders, who is another female, I think is an amazing feat. I think it's something that's really hard to do, and that we take advantage of the idea that we can actually work with one another and not let our ego get in the way, because a lot of them, one of the girlfriends is the CEO and she's the main spotlight, and the others are kind of quieter and in the background. So I think even more so, we've had someone on in the past that has talked about like the Levo League co-founders. We're going to mention them in just a second. One of them is in the background and the other one is kind of out in the forefront. I just think it's amazing that she's able to just kind of let her ego go and let her girlfriend be the one that's there in the media and speaking for the company. So anyway, I wanted to use this as just a reminder. Former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, I've looked up to her since I was in high school. I feel like if you're a fan of the Gilmore Girls, that Rory Gilmore, she loved Madeleine Albright, and I feel like our entire generation of young women, that we all love her, and so, or we admire her as a female. I remember, I think it was in elementary school, I think it was elementary school, when she became the first Secretary of State that was a female. It was a big deal. I remember, I think we all wrote her letters in my class. And so anyway, as Taylor Swift made this, more notable again in the press, Madeleine Albright was the first one that said, there is a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And this is something I posted in the YFE Facebook group some time ago. You can tell that it has different branding. We used to have purples in our colors. But anyway, so Madeleine Albright said this, and it's always something I remember. And whenever I reach out to another woman, I think part of our responsibility is to ask questions, right? Ask for help. Go to our mentors or people that have been where we want to go and ask them for help. And the other part of the responsibility that she's talking about here is to actually reach down and help people. If someone asks you for help, try and help them, that type of a thing. On the flip side, and I want to get your opinion on this, Barbara Walters of The View, she announced her retirement. Now, I remember this because I was at the gym working out and I was watching it. And one of the ladies at the table asked Barbara, you've had this incredible career and you're retiring now. Are you going to mentor other young women who are interested in being where you've been? And she said, no. She was really frank about it. She said, absolutely not. I worked hard to get to where I am and they can too. So what side do you take? Do you take the Barbara Walters side where, you really do have to work for it? Or do you take the Madeleine Albright side where if someone asks you for help, you're going to help them? And is there a middle ground? I think there's a lot of interesting conversation just in that. So let's go ahead and get into celebrating some ladies that are friends. I want to check in the chat and say again, you guys, thank you so much for showing up live. Like I said, if you're able to show up at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on the chat on wifelive.com, it's so much more fun to do these when there's people that are talking. And the whole point of live webcasting is not that I can just talk at you, that ideas can be brought up. So I say that it's ideas upon ideas, but you're able to create something new, a new idea based off of the conversation that's happening around what's being presented. So anyway, getting into it, and yeah, at Terry J. Moore, it is a little harsh. I thought it was harsh, and the reason why I remembered it was because it was harsh, and I think I even might have shared it on the YFE Facebook page at the time, because I didn't really understand. I thought, wow, that's interesting. So anyway, going back to our founders. So, meet the co-founders of Guilt Group. I think a lot of people already know this. I really have wanted to read her book, Alexis Maybank and Alexandra Wilkes Wilson. There's an actual I forget what the book is called, but I'll have to link it below. So these are two women that were brought on by a group of men to start Guilt, and they go around and speak about being a female entrepreneur in the tech space and raising money and creating a business that's very large. So I definitely check them out, do some research, and check out that book too. I don't believe it's on Audible, which is kind of a bummer. Another one is the Levo League. Like I said, there's two co-founders there, Caroline Gosen, I think is how you say it, and Amanda Pouchot. Now again, there are two women. This is the relationship that I think is really interesting, because one of them, and I forget which one, is the CEO, and the other I think is more of like the COO in the background. Again, it takes a lot of like ego letting go in order to let someone else take full control of your idea that you also had, and I think that's always interesting, especially as women, because we tend to be thought of as like people that catfight and can't get along well in that type of power situation, yet these women are pulling it off. So Jen Hyman and Jenny Fleiss, a lot of you know them as the co-founders of Rent the Runway, and you've probably even used their products before. These are two women that I definitely admire because they started something. This was at the beginning of the share culture, this ecosystem where we're able to rent things out and use them and send them back and that type of a thing, so you don't have to own as much. And since then we've seen Uber come up, flex cars, all sorts of ways that we can reduce the amount of consumption we have as far as goods that we use once or twice goes. So check them out, do some research. Catherine Minshew, Alexandra I don't want to pronounce her last name, I'll mess it up, and Melissa McCreary. They're co-founders of the Daily Muse. Again, this is another interesting dynamic in that Catherine Minshew is the CEO. They're all three founders, yet Catherine Minshew is also the one that you're going to see in the press most often. So look up Catherine Minshew especially. She's got a really remarkable story as far as how she got started and the persistence she had to get this idea off the ground. Finally, we've got a few more. Birchbox, Keisha Beauchamp, and Haley Barna. They're both co-founders of Birchbox, and they create so much content between the two of them that oftentimes you'll be able to find their advice within their YouTube videos. But they've also been featured in Inc. and 30 Under 30 lists and that type of a thing. But these, again, it's two women that started this company with an idea, and again, kind of like with the Daily Muse, they did have some support around them. So the Daily Muse, I think, went through Techstars or one of the incubators that's very male driven. And then, of course, the Birchbox founders started it in college. I can't remember if it was grad school or if it was in business or in undergrad. But interesting stories. And then finally, two more, Karina and Katrina, co-founders of Tone It Up. The reason why I bring these women up and all of them up is that they're all doing things that are for other women. And that's why, they're in the press, they're notable. And there's a lot of other women that are doing really scientific things as well, that aren't necessarily fitness and lifestyle and fashion, that type of a thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Young female entrepreneurs, I don't feel like we have to be part of the whole tech booming and be part of STEM in order to be successful or to be notable. But what's interesting is all of these women utilize tech in some way. So they might not be engineers themselves, but they found a way to make it so that their vision, their words can get out to the masses. So like Tone It Up, Karina and Katrina utilize online media in a number of ways, through apps, through videos, through their blog, and the rest of the women do that as well, but they might get a little bit more creative with it. So definitely check them out. And then finally, the founders of Hello Giggles, again, friends, and it's interesting to see how this has grown and where the responsibilities have been. It was started by Zooey Deschanel. Obviously, a lot of you watched The New Girl, and she's now in that. This started, I believe, before she got that role in New Girl. And she's also started it with her friend and producer Sophia Rossi and writer internet sensation Molly McAleer. Hopefully I pronounced that right. So hopefully you guys will take some time to do some research around that and just see what we can learn from all these lady friends who've started companies. In the meantime, hopefully everyone will be able to treat themselves in some way, whether it's taking time out with their girlfriends. And look, I even got this. Ready? Hold on, let me go like this.
Treat yourself.
If you can take some time out with your girlfriends, if you can make yourself a special treat, read another lady friend, online imaginary type of a lady friend type of a book, I definitely recommend checking out the Bethany Frankel, Mindy Kaling, or Tina Fey books on Audible. Those are so funny and so much fun, and that's a great way to celebrate your lady friends by listening to them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching the daily live webcast called Jenn Cast, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So grateful for everyone that shows up live. This has been Jennifer Donogh. Make sure that you sign up for yfe.me/mailed it to get the latest from young female entrepreneurs. Happy Galentine's Day!